After nearly 4 months of waiting, Wave 3 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass drops, and my expectations were exceeded. And now it's finally here, and the best way I can put it is it's absolutely phenomenal. Since Wave 1, each wave has been progressively getting even better, and this is no exception. And based on the trailers alone, these tracks absolutely look at their best. This is by far my favorite wave so far. While previous waves had a great selection of tracks such as Waluigi Pinball, with its absolutely stunning lighting and fantastic theming, it also included one of my favorite tracks, which was New York Minute. However, there were a bit of odd choices added to the wave, such as Mario Circuit 3, which was an underwhelming track. However, Wave 3 introduced new returning mechanics such as half-pipes, and finally added dedicated anti-gravity settings. It was well worth the wait, and I honestly cannot wait to see how they'll top this wave. So today, I decided to rank these tracks based on their appearance, how fun they are to race on, and overall personal enjoyment. If you'd like to support me, make sure to subscribe and like. It really helps me out a lot and will motivate me to keep me making more videos. Let me know your thoughts on this wave in the comments below. Without further ado, this is the Wave 3 Booster Course ranking. For our first track, we have London Loop, and to be quite honest, I'm not really a huge fan of the city tracks, but I actually found myself really enjoying this track. I think the theming of the music and the chain chomps swimming around really just fit the vibe, and I think that's what really made it super interesting for me. Just like the other city tracks, this track also has alternate routes. I thought it was really interesting seeing the chain chomps roaming around freely, especially the one that crosses the river. I thought that was really cool. I think one thing that really drags this track down is just these long stretches of just road. There isn't really much happening. I definitely feel like they could have done something more with the environment, or added new enemies, or some cars driving around, because it feels very empty in these certain areas. I definitely feel like Berlin Byways has an upper hand in this certain aspect of the track, because there aren't that many enemies around, just not much going on. I personally feel like really the only thing carrying this track is just the fact that it has alternate routes and its amazing music. This track has its moments, but for the most part, it really gets dragged down by these long stretches of nothing. For that, it is only fair for London Loop to be placed in C tier. I just don't think it can go any higher. It honestly just gets dragged down by these long roads of nothing. London Loop is definitely a good track, but I find it to be one of the weakest in Wave 3. Alright, I'm not even gonna lie. Bootleg got a big glow up. I'm not even gonna lie. It just looks phenomenal. From everything, like the wood and the water, it's just phenomenal. This is definitely one of those tracks I wasn't excited for in the beginning, but as soon as I played it, it was just like it clicked. It was super fun, and honestly, I think it is one of the best tracks that got released this wave. It's short, but it's also super fun, and personally, I really enjoy driving around this track. It feels intense, it feels like there's a lot of sharp turns, which makes it fun, and in my opinion, I really love the whole vibe of this track. It just feels spooky, it feels fantastic, and overall, I think it's just like a super fun track. One thing I really enjoy about this track is how when you're about to finish the lap, you get this full view of the moon in the sky. Something really fun to look at, and I think it's just a really nice touch. Another really cool thing about this track is how there's a dedicated anti-gravity section. I think that's really neat. It also makes it much cooler how you can go underwater. And I think this is the first track in the Wave 3 to have an anti-gravity section rather than just an anti-gravity track as a whole, which is super cool in my opinion. This is definitely a great track, and I think it deserves A tier. Not an S tier, simply because I think there are better tracks, but it's still a really, really good track. Definitely one of my favorites. Alright, Rock Mountain. One of my favorite tracks from Mario Kart 7 made it back, and I'm happy, but also disappointed. This track is still really fun to race around. It's just so painful to see it have one of the worst looking, I guess, textures. It just has like this very clay look, and I feel like that's one thing that really holds it back. But it's still super fun. I really enjoy gliding around the map, especially the one area where you can skip the whole part before you finish the lap. One good thing though is the music. It's still great, still sounds super fun, super hype. I really enjoy that, and I think that really adds more to the track itself. And there's also this huge part where you can cut just a huge chunk of the map. I kind of tried here in this clip, but I didn't have any mushrooms. But if I did, you could cut like this huge area, even skipping the ramp, and that's like super fun to pull off. So yeah, there's not really much else I can add, except for the fact that I have a nostalgia boner for this track. I grew up with it, playing Mario Kart 7 since I was little, and so yeah, I thought it was really fun. Not much else I can say except I really enjoyed this track. I have a soft spot for it, so I'm gonna have to give it a B tier. It's just super fun. You know, it's, even though it has this look to it, I still can't help but find it super fun to play on, and that is why I'm going to give it a B tier. Okay, Maple Treeway. I don't really think I need to say much. Most people unanimously decided that, yes, this is a phenomenal track. And personally, I agree. It deserves S rank. It looks great, it's super fun, and it's also the first track in the Wave 3 DLC to have half pipes. And overall, it's just super fun to play around. Still just like Mario Kart 7, which is neat, and I personally love the music. It's just so fun, love the theming, and I can see why most people love this track. I think the track speaks for itself, and it definitely deserves S rank. Alright, Berlin Byways. I don't really think it's any different from London Loop. It's just an upgraded version in my opinion. I think it did it better than London Loop. I will say though, the music is a lot better in my opinion. I think that the roads are a lot more interesting compared to London Loop. Still, I think it suffers from the fact that there's just roads. I will say though, I think the cars being on the road adds an interesting dynamic in my opinion. Along with the fact that there are thwomps near the end of the lap. I think that is also really cool, and something that I critiqued about London Loop, how there were no enemies or many obstacles. Another really cool thing is how you can come across other players while you guys are intersecting to finish the lap. I think that's really cool. Something that I really love about the city tracks, even though I'm not a huge fan of them. I do think the Womps actually add an interesting dynamic. I think they're pretty difficult to, I guess, dodge. And you can also trick off of them, which is something I didn't expect, so that's really cool. Other than that, I think it's a really good tour track. Much better than London Loop. So I think it definitely deserves B tier, right up there with Rock Mountain. It definitely does the scenery a lot better though, in my opinion. Okay, so Peach Gardens. There's a lot to talk about here. Firstly, some track that I actually have a lot of memories playing since I was a child, and yeah, it just gives me a lot of nostalgia, so I really enjoy it. I was worried that it was going to end up like Rock Mountain, and I'm so glad it had a really high texture resolution thingamajig. It just made it better in my opinion. And yeah, I just think it's super good. Not only that, but I really love the music. It's just something that gives me a lot of nostalgia. I know this track is getting carried by nostalgia a lot, but it's just super fun to play on in my opinion. I also love how in the garden there are the chain chomps that freely roam with the item boxes. I think there's an interesting dynamic where you get to choose left or right. That's super cool. And one thing that really shocked me was how in the end, the last lap, the track actually makes you go backwards. That is something I just did not expect. Really surprising. And I really love that addition. I was imagining that they were just gonna make it like the original, but no, they went out for the extra mile and created this alternate route. And I really love that. And I wish they kind of do that to some other tracks. I think that'll really help with the tracks that really need it. This is definitely an S track for me. One of the best tracks in this wave. Definitely S. Merry Mountain looks fantastic. I mean, just look at this trailer. It looks amazing. One of the highest quality tracks in my opinion. I personally really love Christmas themes, so hearing this music and this whole track is just like really awesome to me. I love the vibe of it. I love the skybox. It looks incredible. I think the fact that this train just runs around really gives me the same feeling that I get when I play Mario Kart 64's Rainbow Road on 8 Deluxe. It's just really sick to see. I also really love the addition of half pipes here. It's super sick. I will say though, this part of the map, there isn't much going on when you're going downhill. I know like later laps they add a glider section, but besides that there isn't really much else that they add. So it's kind of the weakest part of the map in my opinion. But besides that, this whole map looks phenomenal. I love the vibe of it. The lighting looks great. I love the snow effect. Just everything seems so cozy, I guess, even though we're in the snow. I can't explain it, but it's just so cool. This is honestly my favorite Nitro track from the whole booster course pass so far, and I just really want to give it an S rank, but due to the fact that there's this gliding part, you know, there isn't really much going on, I'm just gonna have to give it an A tier. But besides that, if they just added enemies or some sort of other obstacle, I really think it could have been an S tier. Still a really good track though. Definitely really good. Alright, I know everybody has said this already, but there's a good reason why. This is the best track in the whole booster course so far. It is the best one. Biggest glow up, one of my favorite tracks of all time, and unanimously decided to be the best Rainbow Road of all time. Everything just feels high quality. It feels like they put all their effort in, and they somehow managed to make this look distinct from the other Rainbow Roads, and I really enjoy that. And I hope in the future to have all the Rainbow Roads in this game, even though that probably won't happen. I really do hope that does. I think that would be really cool. We already have a lot of Rainbow Roads in here, and I think it'd be really neat if we included the rest of the Rainbow Roads. Even the music sounds phenomenal. It's such an upgrade. I really love it. The skybox just looks phenomenal. I can't really say much apart from the fact that this is a really high quality track, and I just think it really deserves S rank. The wavy roads, the mushrooms, it just looks phenomenal. And of course, it's still really fun to race around. I really enjoy it. I think the fact that they included an anti-gravity section on the moon was brilliant. It definitely deserved that part. I love how they still included that tube that spins around. I think that's really sick. It's just so fun. I just cannot praise it enough. It's a really great track. It's just overall really good. I don't know what else to say apart from the fact that they're gonna have a tough time trying to top this track off, and that's why I'm excited to see the rest of the waves. Let's see what else they put out there. It would simply be criminal of me to not include this into the S tier. There's just no way. It's just phenomenal. There's not much else I can say. It's just great. It's really good. I cannot praise it enough. The best track, in my opinion, of all Mario Kart 8 Deluxe so far. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it if you made it all the way to the end. And if you want to show your support, please leave a like or a sub or even comment. Anything really helps out. And if you can share the video with your friends, I'd also appreciate that, because I want to get out there and make my channel even bigger. If you agree with my tier list or disagree, let me know in the comments below, and I'll read your comments. I'll try and reply to as many as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support, and I'll see you next time.